Hey, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of Random Ish with Sonja. How you doing? We are out on location. Can you see this beautiful background? Oh my gosh. Must mean we are at Milford Med Spa with Courtney. How you doing?
I am really good, excited to be on with you.
I am so happy that we are having this conversation. I met this lady, okay? Let me tell you how I met Courtney. I keep having the most insane stories on how I meet these dope women. Last time I was talking with Marcy, she told me I bum rushed into her business. I forgot that I did that. I kind of bum rushed Courtney too.
Sort of, or I bum rushed you.
No, I actually did. So what happened was, we were at, I think it was a Walnut Beach Association meeting, and she donated, I think, a beautiful picture.
I donated funds.
You donated funds to
Walnut
it.
Beach Association, who are doing a restoration of the ecological map.
Oh, I
that
love
is between
that.
Silver Sands, Walnut Beach.
And it's so cute.
So
That
I
little
was there
map
and
is
received
cute.
the painting. I think that's the day I
Yes, that's
received
the
the
day
painting
she received
of the
it.
original one.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I was like, oh my goodness. And so I was talking to Simon about doing the Manifest Your Beauty Fest. And I was like, Simon, I had asked them about sponsorship. And they were like, you got to give us your paperwork way earlier. And I was like, oh, I didn't know. So he was like, listen, you need to go talk to Courtney. And I was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? And I thought, honestly, I really thought that he was, I love Simon. I love you, Simon. But I thought Simon was just talking. You know what I mean? I thought he was just like, go talk to Courtney. You know what I mean? And then I did. And her personality and the energy, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Is this like one of those divine meeting appointment things that I was I almost didn't take advantage of because I thought he was just
It was crazy though too, because I just showed up. I had never been to one of those meetings before ever. I'm not even really sure how I found out about their the community thing that they were doing for Walnut Beach.
Really?
I think I found out on Instagram maybe. Yeah. So I contacted them and was like, I love this. My husband's a science teacher. I'm all about the Milford Beach and supporting the community. So I wanted to contribute to their project. So I showed up that day to the Walnut Beach Association meeting to receive the painting and do the whole, formal exchange of funds and stuff. And you just happened to be there.
And I never saw her before.
You also had wanted to see me.
Yes.
And it just worked out. It was very bizarre.
It was so bizarre. And I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to ride with this because I have to, in order for me to be able to do what I would like to see happen in the world, I'm going to have to step out and get some help and meet people and, get this whole thing moving. And it has just been a fantastic experience since.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Love working with you. When you were telling me about your ideas and Manifest Beauty event, and I was just like, wow, this is perfect. I am all for that. Simon was totally right.
Yeah, he was totally right. It was I was so, and then when I came into her office and I saw the colors, because it was that one first, and then I was just
our murals.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is okay, so let's just go with, and you totally understand and get the message, which is we don't let life tell us what we're going to live. No, we don't let the circumstances just dictate to us how our quality of life is going to be, because we all can get dealt very not fun hands to have to deal with. And I've heard that saying many times, right? I'm just going to deal with the hand that I've been dealt. How do you feel about that statement?
Well, we have to do something, right? But there's reacting and then there is acting.
Yeah.
To me. And a lot of us, I think, live in the reaction stage. But I don't know really how that shift happens. It's intentional for sure. And for me, I did a lot of self-help book reading and things like that and really shifted my perspective.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel as though I manifested my life out of what it used to be.
Yeah.
And ultimately I ended up manifesting a med spa, which I did unintentionally.
Right.
But I did some manifesting for my career.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, you're not stuck. You feel stuck.
You always feel stuck.
We're
with the
continually
circumstances.
dealt stuff. We're continually surrounded by things in our environment that aren't making you feel good or making
Yeah.
you feel beautiful.
Yeah.
But there are definitely things that you can do and believe in yourself and believe in the energy of the world and the universe to bring these things to you, to manifest and create the world and life that you want.
Exactly.
For
That is
yourself and others.
And for others, because that's what's so dope about, I feel like, the energy when it is at play, right? When it's in its positive play. Because even when it's in its negative play,
True.
it does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It comes, it's in you, it's through you, and then it goes to others, and then it becomes this like really big, beautiful mosaic where it's just like all of these different aspects, but it's this like big, beautiful, like what do they say? The sum is greater than the parts, right? It's just a big, beautiful, life-giving type of a thing.
Absolutely.
Or a life-taking type of a thing. You know, energy can go either way. And I'm a big believer because, listen, as women, okay, and I don't know about you. Well, I do know that you do. I do know she does. But you don't necessarily know about me that my mom is part of the community, right? And I know that you have a child who is also part of the community. And therefore, that makes us, I would say, almost like warriors and champions of making sure that people are allowed to live the way that they want to live. Being a woman should make you automatically a champion for that. It should. It doesn't necessarily.
Yeah.
We know that there's a lot of people who have a different point of view on, you know, women and business, which again, I feel like that's such a few number. I don't feel like people really think that way. But we are all championing for us to be able to, you know, as the pursuit of happiness, right? That's our inalienable right to pursue our right of happiness. So you've been taking your experiences of life, right? And using that to help other people feel great. Now, I saw your glow up is what we call it. The glow up. And I was like, wait, what? Because it's a beautiful transformation. And when I look at you, I don't see, I don't want to be offensive because I do have friends who have who've gotten work done.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Oh,
and
okay.
And it's
mine is look natural.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my way.
Right? That's your
style.
whole way about everything that you've got going on, right? Is that even though you're like, dude, right? You don't have to necessarily just play the cards that you've been dealt, all right? Okay? You can do something about the way that you feel, the way that your outer parts look, but mostly what I enjoy very much is that she does, you know, bring in the element of the inside, right? Because that's the most important part. When you are doing the work that you do, right? When you're like meeting with people and they come in here, are you like seeing like even a transformation even with your clients? Like how's their confidence when they come in here to come and do these, you know, these small things to make small changes to the way that they look and feel? Is it like a really big output that ends up happening?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. And I also would say that people, when they come in, are really vulnerable. Because they're coming in and they're sharing with me the things that bother them about themselves.
Right.
It starts with the physical stuff. And yeah, we make transformations that can help them feel better about themselves, about how they look. That's usually why they've come in to a med spa.
Right.
But when they come back for their next visit or whatever it is, right? Or I see them living into that difference of how they look, that confidence and feeling of beauty really spreads out into the rest of their life in a beautiful way. Yeah.
How has it done that for you? Because I would imagine that's the whole reason why you got into this business is because you started seeing some changes, and you started feeling more beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
So how has that transformation been from, tell them real quick, like how you went from being a nurse, being stressed out, having your very safe, comfortable, well-paying job to transitioning into on your own. And this is not an industry that is, although it's beginning to be, right? Like it's beginning to be way more mass appeal, right? Like I ran into this one face, more inclusive. There's everybody, more people are taking advantage of being able to make themselves beautiful. But you started before it became that way. So how? Tell us your story.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I'm a geriatric specialist by background. I did it for about 15 to 20 years.
Geriatric. I thought you were like a regular nurse.
No. So I did primary care, dementia care, mental health care. Yeah. And, so I've seen the end of the road, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm more like preventive at the beginning to help you feel and live your best quality of life. But that might be another story.
Yeah,
but
girl.
Anyway, right? Love older people. Love working with older people. But, yes, stressed out, burnt out, primary care provider. We all know the current healthcare system is stressful for all of us, not just the patient, also the providers.
Yeah.
We're all just like stretched so thin. And really, I was lacking that like satisfaction with my career. I wanted, so what I did actually is I was feeling really crappy, and I manifested, basically this is how I did it. I thought about what I wanted in my career, what I wanted to feel. I wanted to feel fulfilled. I wanted to feel like I was improving other people's lives.
I love that.
I also wanted to feel like I had time with my family, because that's
that.
what I was missing out on. And I wanted to feel like I had enough money. I didn't want to feel like I was living paycheck to paycheck, you know? Even though I might be still doing that. But anyway, business owner
life.
But anyway, so in addition to thinking about that, I also connected that with the emotions that I would feel around that. So during my 1 hour commute, I had a 1 hour commute back and forth, 1 hour each way. I would think about that and really feel inside and visualize and feel mostly the emotion of how I would feel when that was the truth, when that was reality. Like I lived and felt as though that was real.
Yeah.
And then things just started to unfold or show themselves. Opportunities would start to show themselves to me to make that a reality. So at that moment, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do or how I wanted to do it. But that's what I wanted out of my career and out of my life.
Right.
And so the first thing that happened, actually something unfortunate, actually my mom became bedbound and not well.
Oh, wow.
So that's really what pushed me over the edge to make some decisions and change my life. It's probably different for everybody. What is it that pushes you to do that change and take that risk, right? Because I was secure in my career. I was an expert at that point in geriatrics. But I had to change my life. I looked for a job using my hands. I wanted to be more creative. I was a wound care specialist. Wanted to use my hands. So I applied to work at a medical spa.
Okay.
And I got the job. I was a little aggressive, a little assertive in how that happened. But still, I got the job.
Okay.
And I loved it. I loved in particular, now I worked at a laser hair removal and medical spa place, so I learned Botox filler and stuff. But in particular, I really loved, unexpectedly, working with the transgender clients who came there for laser hair removal. And the change in their attitude and happiness and just like the look on their face when they come in was like monumental. They were so happy in becoming the version of themselves that they wanted. It was just beautiful. So like I get so much satisfaction out of working in a medical spa, more than I thought, right? Like I did it because I needed more time for myself and a little more time for my family too. I had to take care of my mom, but I also got out of it career satisfaction. So that's, to me, I got that out of putting that out there. I didn't really know which way to go, but I looked at all my options and things came to me. And the person who hired me, I love her so much. Nicole works here now with me.
Oh my God.
And I am forever grateful to her for giving me that opportunity, or I would never be sitting here. Never. Yep. So I don't know if I'm even answering your question, but the other thing why I'm actually sitting here is because of COVID. So COVID happened, All right, COVID happened, and I was like, all right, we don't really know how COVID spreads. I'm not really too comfortable doing this laser hair removal, so I quit.
I know that's right.
Take care of my mom. My mom was sick. I didn't want to expose to germs.
Right.
So, I can't not have my Botox. So I opened an account with Allergan, who sells Botox and the filler Juvederm. And I started doing it for myself and my friends and family at home.
Okay.
During COVID, right? We wore the mask and everything, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, just keeping it within my own crew. And then, strangers started to contact me and be like, hey, I heard you're doing Botox, can I see you? So that's when I started my med spa. I opened just in one room right down the street on Cherry Street here, just one room, just me. And then that grew, more and more people, word of mouth spread, and then I ended up moving here where I am now at 99 Cherry Street. And because of, initially it all started with that manifesting though, back when I was in the job I wasn't happy with, feeling burnt out, feeling tired, not professionally fulfilled, hitting walls in the healthcare industry where I couldn't practice my skill set as a nurse practitioner the way I wanted to. And I ended up here.
That is so amazing. And you've grown and you've experienced and you're helping people and you're doing new things. And now you have the ability to make decisions and you can do what you want.
Yes. So one of those things you started talking about the community, being a member of the community. So LGBTQ community is something I care very much about. And one of the things I do here that a lot of med spas don't is gender affirming facial treatments with filler and Botox to feminize and masculinize so that people can look and feel like they want to in their gender. I do all the typical med spa stuff too.
Yes.
But that is a beautiful thing I do. And I mean, tears happen.
Yes.
Tears happen when I do, make the jaw look a little more masculine for someone who wants to appear more masculine. I bring that mirror over after putting some filler in the jawline, and it's tears.
See, that's one of the things that is just kind of like, it's hard to accept that people still to this day cannot just accept that somebody who, even though there's the unified theory of one, okay, but they're separate from you, you can't accept the fact that they are wanting to live their lives the way that they want to live their lives. What's so interesting, apparently just yesterday, which I love that I heard this right before we have this conversation. So I heard, apparently, because, all of the phones and TikTok, gotta love TikTok, that there is a video, there's research that has been done on these black swans. And on the research on the black swans, they are showing that there are black swans that are gay. They are homosexual. And what happens is, I don't condone violence. What happens is,
What do swans do?
these homosexual swans, what they do when they want to have a baby, they will go and pretend to be hetero, go get a swan chick pregnant. When she gets pregnant and lays the eggs, his partner will come over. They kind of rough her up, get her out the nest, push her away from the eggs.
Wow.
They then take care of and mate the eggs and raise the children for themselves.
Oh, wow.
So if swans have the ability to use some type of consciousness to make a decision that that's what they're going to do, right? Because that's the important part.
Yeah.
I think we all know that there are different species that have different sexualities, right? Like we all know that. We got taught that in school, right? But to make the conscious decision.
Right. And swans mate for life.
And they mate for life. They mate for
rare
love.
Species that mate for life. Yeah.
So I kind of feel like, the discussion that we were having, I was like, in my opinion, again, unified theory, that's God just showing in a way that can't really be argued. It's swans. You know what I mean? And we know that they mate for life. So we know that this is not, it's not lustful. It's not anything like that. It's because they're feeling love. They feel love with their partner. They want to raise a family, even though they are not living a life that makes it easy so that they can just do it themselves. Right. And so when I heard that, I was just like, that is Touche swans. Again, I don't condone violence. Don't be pushing them lady girls away. But if you're willing to go so far as an animal, then that means that there is obviously, and if we just want to talk about energy and vibration, and we don't even have to say it with people, but that means there's obviously an energy and a vibration in this universe that is not just with human beings. So it's something that is here, right? It's something that's a part of everything else, just like the moon and the stars and, up and down and all of that good stuff. So I think that is like incredibly beautiful what you're doing. I very much enjoy watching you be vocal. Because some of the things that I was talking to her about. So last night I was talking to my marketing professor, and he says, sometimes you get a little political. Oh. And I was like, I don't really think I get political. I think I say, I might like, I might say a little something, but not really. I was saying to Courtney earlier that it does suck, but the truth of the matter is, and hopefully, hopefully it'll change.
Right.
Right. I'm going to be positive.
Right.
Right. But for the most part, it does have to be white women and men speaking up, to change things. And that sucks. You know what I mean? But it is the truth, Yeah. So I think that
this is a place where this is loving, accepting, welcoming.
It's a beautiful thing.
Of all people, all genders, all sexualities here.
Everyone. Yeah. Everyone is welcome.
In this time, in times like these, you bring your community close.
Yeah.
And you love each other and love on each other and support each other. So, in facing adversity, it just makes me even more so want to share that message out there that this is a place where you are cared, loved, and, we're going to help you feel and look your best no matter who you are, especially because of who you are.
Yes.
Actually.
Yes.
Especially because of you.
Because you're worth it, using L'Oreal. You're worth it, my friend. We are all absolutely worth it, And I think that is just a beautiful thing that you've got going on. Matter of fact, because we're saying that this is a place where you can feel welcome. You did mention the address once before, but will you let them know, where are we?
Yeah, so we're at 99 Cherry Street. This is actually a house from the 1800s. It's been here a long time. It's in a row of a lot of these old houses. We're on the corner of Gulf and Cherry near G-Mart. That's usually what I tell people.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have a sign yet, but we're going to buy one this year.
That's
my goal. I'm going to buy a sign.
Getting some signage this year.
We just have a little one, like all the other businesses.
Yeah,
we're going to get one with our logo.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
That'll be good.
So excited about that.
That'll be great. These shirts and hoodies are more than just shirts and hoodies. Part of that global movement. We take the chaos and we manifest beauty. Remembering what makes us human and our magic. ManifestBeautyShop.com. This is the year of scaling. I feel like everybody is kind of in this, and it's the numerology number 9. Again, I'm going to say it again. Gregorian calendar. This is the year that we have agreed upon that it is. We don't actually know what time or place it actually is. I just would like to preface by saying that. But we agree that this is, February, which makes it a 9 year in 2025, which is a year of completion. So what were you doing in 2016?
In 2016? Oh, goodness. Oh, wow. I was in my doctoral program.
Stop.
Wow, yeah. And I couldn't have done this without that either. Yeah, definitely. Pulling on skills and things I learned, program development. Oh, yeah.
So look at
my doctoral program. Yeah.
So what I would like for you to do, just, for yourself, just so you can just give yourself some more good feelings, all of that goody stuff. Go back and look through your Google photos, in 2016, what you're doing, because the things that we started in 2016, they are leveling up and coming to a completion and getting ready to go to the next level this year. And I did the same thing. I went back and I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, 2016, that was the first year that I actually, like, I had already been doing my radio station. Like, I'd already been doing stuff.
Yeah.
But that was the year that one of my fitness clients knew I started a radio station. And she was like, the music that you play for us is so good in here. You know, my son is having a birthday party. Will you come and play the music? I'll give you $100.
Wow. That's fascinating. Yeah.
Insane, right?
Yeah. 2016, when I was in my program, you know, my sister is the one who inspired me. My sister's 10 years younger than me.
Oh.
And she's also a nurse. She's a nurse practitioner. But she was a nurse, and she decided to go become a nurse practitioner. I was already a nurse practitioner, but there's this new degree available, a doctor of nursing practice, that wasn't available when I was in school, when I became one. So she was like, hey, sis, you know, what do you think? And I was like, yeah. I'm going to do it because I have so much, you know, I had at least 20, 30 more years of my career left. I'm a young nurse practitioner. I still needed to remain competitive. So I jumped in and did it. It was so hard.
And look.
Whoa, so hard. But I'm glad I did it, of course.
I'm so glad that you did it too, because look at that. It gave you the foundation and the base for what you're doing.
Really now, I could segue into my current passion right now. Is perimenopause and menopause care.
Yes.
And what I learned in my doctoral program is what is allowing me to now participate in that game. Ooh. Leveling up the menopause care game, because it is awful at the moment for women.
Yes. Like, why is that? I mean,
why is that? Because it takes 10 years on average for research to come to practice. Oh. And what I learned in my doctoral program is exactly that. How to bring research to practice as fast as you can. We don't have time to wait 10 years.
No, we don't.
For perimenopause.
Are you serious?
Right. So I am learning as much as I can now to bring it here faster.
I love that.
There's a group of professional women, doctors, nurse practitioners, who are psychologists who are doing that. And I'm all for that.
Yes.
Part of it.
Yes. Yeah. Because you know what, there's not a lot of information, and everybody's experience is different. And I think that that's what is, again, especially with the medical industry, period. You know, I'm hoping, I've heard and seen some things that say that it's moving to more of an individual care. I don't know that it's actually like with the big pharmas and stuff like that. I don't know that that's what they're going to actually be moving to. But I saw some papers that said. So it would be really cool, you know, if everybody did have more of a holistic or more of a preventative. Because I'm not sure that that's the way it goes.
It's like my motto around that topic is to know your hormones and know your options. That's something we don't know.
Right.
Most people come to me not knowing their hormones. They don't know where they know they're not feeling good. They know something's not right, and they haven't been able to get answers from the traditional medical community. So I go and turn over every stone. We do labs. I do a symptom inventory and figure out and tell you what your labs are, what your hormones are. And I also tell you what safe treatment options are and what symptoms they'll treat. So like that's something I didn't receive in my experience of menopause, perimenopause. I'm perimenopausal. I would put that out there. I'm 47 years old. Don't care. Tell you, proud of it. 40s have been the best. 40s have been the best. What? Love it.
Yo. But you know what? Like, I've always kind of hung out with older ladies, and the ladies would tell me, they were like, girl, you wasting your time. Everything you doing, you pretty much wasting your time, because it's when you hit your 40s, it all changes. And it does. It you know, even though it can be, I think, scary with the way that they were explaining things before. Oh my God, the hot flashes. You're just on the floor, and I'm so irritable. And it's always the absolute worst, you know, scenarios.
All the bad stuff.
You know what I'm saying? All of the bad stuff. And especially with Manifest Beauty and the way that I believe in process and think, I'm kind of like, listen, ladies, I don't really say anything on it because I have my own opinions about it. And I do truly believe that your body does listen to you and your thoughts, you know? And you can influence your hormones. You can influence your body to produce the correct things. But if you're kind of like, if you're off, like you were saying, and you don't do anything to fix it, everything that your body is producing, it's producing that whacked out
It's telling you it's not happy.
Yeah, like it's like, and it's not going to stop.
Going on here.
Something's got to give and get fixed, you know? And so I really do hope that with the research that happens. Okay, so I'm going to jump to, remember Suzanne Summers? Do you remember that? When she used to, when I was a girl. So some of my things that I have in the back of my head are from when I was a girl and Suzanne Summers was going through her menopause. And she was like, you need to eat some sweet potatoes. You need to get hormone cream. And I was like, she was like doing infomercials and I would watch them just because I thought she was amazing. You know what I mean? But she was like, you had to get like the hormone cream. She was like, you have to make sure they're not synthetic. You have to make sure that they're good. You got to put them on your body. You can eat sweet potatoes if you don't want to do that, you know? So I thought, I thought early on, I was like, okay, then this does not have to be like this whole, the cartoons. Yeah, the cartoons that they put out there. It doesn't have to be this whole, like, you're a woman, you're here to suffer. You know, you can find a way to still live your life and minimize the symptoms as much as possible.
As well as prevent osteoporosis, heart disease, breast cancer.
Yeah. See?
And Alzheimer's.
You can do it, friends.
Yeah.
Just
saying. You can level up.
Yes.
You can level up. You can. I did. I feel like I've reversed my age.
Yeah.
I am healthier and feel better now than I did 10 years ago. 100%.
Isn't that
not only because
so
of the Botox and filler?
Yeah, no. The health is your inside. Yeah, no.
It is more than that.
That is beautiful. That is a really, really great thing. I always like to say that the other day somebody asked me, I was like, yeah, I'm 23. The biohacking is a huge thing right now. And with you learning and all of the other female doctors learning about, the hormones and learning about, what we need, and also sneak in some B12 questions in there as well, because I really do think that has something to do with Alzheimer's. But anyway.
Oh, yeah. I often found low B12 on people who felt like they had Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I make sure I'm taking my stuff. And then, so I feel like there's definitely things that people can be learning. They can biohack themselves. They can live a better life. We can have a better quality of life. We don't have to just take the hand that we've been dealt and just be like, oh, man, I got nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not, I just want people to have a better perspective and hope in life.
In addition to manifesting, or putting that feeling of what you want your life to be, learning. I am a lifelong learner. I am addicted to learning, and learning stimulates your nerves and your brain, right?
Yes.
I heard you talking about neuroplasticity.
That's right, baby. That's right, baby.
But neuroplasticity and continuing to learn something new continually keeps you young.
It keeps you young.
Absolutely.
And we don't have to stay the same. And, there's definitely, we could sit here for a whole nother hour and a half on this one, right when I get ready to say with the emotional stuff that happens with people with the trauma that they're feeling from not feeling beautiful, from people, and sometimes I don't even know, this is the weird part, right? I don't even know if it's necessarily that people continue to make fun of you or make you feel some kind of way. It's that you captured that as a kid or as a teen, and then you're doing it. You're the one recycling it.
Yeah.
It's not that people are actually being mean to you or whatever. It's that you're being mean to you. You're repeating those things, and then it keeps bringing more examples. What is it? Different faces, different places. And then
the same lesson
the same lesson until you learn it. Yeah. And it's amazing and a beautiful thing that you are connecting, because again, even though this is not like, it's not your typical medical office, but I do think that it's important, and I hope that that's the direction that every medical practitioner starts going into, is that we are kind of like understanding that there's a deeper level to why a person is here, and that you'll make more money, in my opinion, I could be wrong, you would make more money and have a lifelong customer from somebody that you are helping to look and feel great naturally, like you do, versus just being like, oh, you don't like this? Oh, you don't like this shit?
Right,
You know what I mean? And just, over processing them and just over giving them things, because...
Something beautiful, too, that happens like several times a week in my treatment chair. My room is right over there. People, like I said, are very vulnerable with me about their looks, but pretty much always turns into being vulnerable with me about other things that are bothering them that they share with me. And it's really fulfilling for me to be able to point them in the right direction. Whether it's you need to go see your primary care provider, or hey, have you thought about getting some psychotherapy? Or, you know, have you been creative? Have you used your creative energy? You know, like, so being a medical spa provider is a little bit like being a therapist, but it's more like case finding and being able to point people in the right direction, like your primary care provider would. But they don't have the time to listen. I do.
Right.
Because while I'm doing the filler, while I'm pulling up the Botox, like truly, I have more time to listen.
True.
And really listen to that constellation of symptoms or things that are happening to the person, and at least start them off somewhere where they weren't.
Yeah.
Like they don't know which way to go.
Right.
You know, so I can at least kind of point in the right direction.
Oh, that's so great, because again, just like you were saying, in 2016, you went and got that doctorate, and that just puts you in a whole different ball game. You know, I really have enjoyed having this conversation with you and getting to know and see the whole circle of how your life has really just turned into a beautiful thing, and how you have grown as a person, as a medical practitioner, and as an entrepreneur. Okay, ma'am?
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful thing. So we've got people that have been watching all over, and you never know. So you're at 99 Cherry Street on Milford, and tell them your website.
Yeah, milfordmedspa.com, and then all our socials are at Milford Med Spa.
There you go. Well, you know what? I am looking forward to having some fun with you. Oh, wait. You know, I wanted to... We have this here. Yes, we like to have a lot of fun together. I love that. I love that this is here. I love that she told me that people are reading it. And I mean, I still have my residuals from the books and stuff. I've just never really promoted them, and that's all changing. Now that the trademark is in, now that I know that I'm good. Yeah, I'm so happy. Oh my gosh. And it came in right on the day of the first day of the planetary alignment, the alignment.
Really?
On the 21st. So cool. Yeah, I was like,
that's
okay,
awesome.
So it's kind of making all of the kind of like worth it. I'm like, oh, maybe it really, I mean, I know that it has, but then every once in a while I'm like, am I just making this up? You know what I mean? But things like that make me go, oh my gosh, maybe this thing really is way as big as when I originally saw it. Like maybe it really is going to get that big, you know? So
being open to that is what will make it possible.
Yes, you know,
in ways that you can't
exactly
even plan.
Because that's exactly that is everything that has happened. I mean, because in my mind's eye, I would be like, oh yeah, we're going to do the Manifest Your Beauty Fest, and it's going to be this dope thing that's going to be like, we're going to go around the world, and we're going to have like these concerts and these like conversations in our hot spots where our listeners are, because I would have a pocket of listeners in Turkey, I've got a pocket of listeners in Israel, I've got a pocket of listeners in Ireland, you know, in Taiwan, you know, it's just all different kinds of places. So I'm, you know, in my head thinking that. And of course I have nothing. I mean, I've been blackballed. I was making $400 a month. I didn't know how I was going to do anything. I had 10 years in radio, but I could not get touched. Like but I was dreaming, you know, and it is really, really, you know, again, thank you, because I've said this to you once before, but maybe, I don't know if you really understand, you know, which maybe you do. Now that I've had this conversation with you, maybe you actually do. But the way that I was like, okay, I was once again pushed into a corner when I was like, I have to do something. I'm like, I'm on this radio station, yet I have nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I've got to do something. Okay, I'm gonna do this fest. Dang it! We're just gonna put it out there. Why not? You know? And when I talk to people about it, everybody's response is very much like, "Oh, that sounds like so cool," you know? And it is time, and it's been great. And every time you speak, it makes me very happy, because I'm like, not all of my speakers get it. I love the speakers. I love the speakers. Love y'all. You know what I'm saying? But not all of you get it. You know what I'm saying? And you really do. And so I just wanted to say thank you again for like really bringing that passion, being who you are, following your impulses, and helping to make the world and take the chaos of the world and make something beautiful. Like you are embodying Manifest Beauty, and it's dope. It's dope as fuck, yo. You know? So it was so great to talk to you, Courts. and come by and see her if you need to get some stuff done. You want to, zhuzh and just a little sprinkle.
To me in my chair?
Come and hang out. Okay. Thank you so much. This was great. This was fun.
Sonja.
See ya.